Next up, Adrian, fashion designer, street entrepreneur, no, street retail, street designer. A lot of terminologies for you, titles.
Hi everyone, I'm Adrian, and I'm with Pesto and Mortar Clothing. So let me just give you a brief introduction of Pesto and Mortar. We've been around for 10 years now. We are a streetwear lifestyle brand, and the reason we're here, the reason this brand was founded was essentially to put Southeast Asia on the map, to put Malaysia on the map. We want people to know what Malaysia is all about. We have a lot of stories worth sharing to the world, and we want to do it our own way, which is through apparel, through the stories that we can tell through the apparels that we produce. We want people to talk about our designs. We want people to create conversations with our designs, and ultimately, the end goal is to share stories of stories that we are familiar with, stories that resonates with the people around the world. So initially, sorry. So initially, um, the challenge that we faced was building trust amongst the crowd. Why? When we first started 10 years ago, you can count on your fingers how many local streetwear bands there were. There were very few. And the problem that we faced was building trust with a local Malaysian brand. Second, with a brand, our brand itself, and with our products. So what we actually did was we did a lot of pop-up activations. We attended a lot of pop-ups that allowed us to get close to our customers, to understand our customers, and that allowed us to let the customers understand our product, our quality, our designs. Further down the line, we decided, hey, we needed a physical space, a space that these customers can actually come, where they can come find us every day. They know where we are. They don't have to go through social media or Facebook or wherever to find out where we are. This marked a huge transition. This marked a huge transition for our brand because this gave us the validation that we are a serious business. We are not a pet project. We are not a hobby. People know that we mean business. Another way that we actually built trust with our brand name was actually to do very key strategic partnerships. Um, a few years ago, we collaborated with Royal Selangor. I'm sure all of you know Royal Selangor. So this collaboration was something that a lot of people in Malaysia have never seen before. Which brings us back to what we're talking about today, reputation and influence. Doing this collaboration increased our reputation. It basically validated our brand as a brand to be reckoned with peers in the industry, with other companies, and this opened a lot of doors for us in terms of potential partnerships. So, with 10 years in the business, how are we able to differentiate ourselves? I see someone laughing at this already. Yes. So, we have managed to create a space in the industry that is essentially ours, a space that no other local brand has been able to come into. We do it by being ourselves, by telling stories through graphics. We are able to be different by being very, well, we are essentially a streetwear brand. So, what is the streetwear brand? Streetwear is about being different, challenging the status quo, always challenging what is the protocols or the laws or whatever. Okay, so we did this with push boundaries. We always try to do something different. We are able to react to current times, to current sentiments, to local sentiments, like when this happened. I'm sure you all know what this scandal is. Yeah, so we launched this collection just to resonate with the feelings of the people at that time. So I've been talking about what we are and what we do, but how do we actually do it? There are essentially three basic steps that we go through before every campaign that we engage on. Step one, we need to understand our customers. We need to know everything about you before we are able to create things for you, create things that you want to do. So what we do is every year we'll have focus groups, we'll have surveys with our core group of customers to determine what they are, who they are, what they like, what they don't like, their interests, and whatnot. What this means is we are able to know everything about you, and because we are in the retail industry, we are working in a market of wants. You don't need another t-shirt. So with this information, we're able to craft customer profiles of people that are buying our products, core customers. With this information, we are able to create campaigns, craft products, make it so that you will want our product, you would need our product. Step 2, understanding yourself. So um, we need to understand who you are as a business, who you are as a brand. I cannot stress this enough. We need to identify what your lane is and stick to your lane because people know you for who you are. If you deviate from your lane, you might miss out on your brand identity. So what we do here at Pastel and Mozart, we stick to these 3 core principles, which is our brand identity of always championing Southeast Asia, always championing Malaysia. Secondly, we always want to push boundaries. We always think of unexpected things to do, how to do things differently, and how to push all the boundaries that have been set before this. And lastly, we do it the way we know how to do it the best, by telling stories via graphic storytelling through our apparel. So, step 3, last step. With steps 1 and 2, you need to find an angle. Find an angle to relate the customers back to your products. So what we do here at Pastel and Mozart Clothing, every day at the office, we ask ourselves, who are our core customers? How do we engage them? Why do we actually ask these questions? This core group of customers, from step 1, this core group of customers are actually the group of customers that will actually grow your business. They will improve your revenue. They contribute the most to your revenue. Basically, I'm sure I don't have to go into the cost acquisition of new customers and recurring customers, but these customers will grow with your brand. They'll stay loyal to you so long as they find you relatable. They can identify with your brand, and they feel like they belong with the brand. So what we do, you take steps 1, 2, and 3, mix it up all together in a pesto and mortar, and very likely you'll get a very successful campaign. So I've shared with you the steps that we take, but I'm going to show you a few examples of campaigns that we've done in the past with these 3 steps in mind. So a few years back during the general elections, we launched this election capsule. The main purpose of this capsule was actually to educate people. So you can see here how we took steps 1, 2, and 3 and mashed it all together. For this collection launch, we actually had voting booths, and we created voting ballot papers with the collection, our designs for that collection as parties that they can vote for. So the reason this was done was because if you manage to see in step 1, the core group of our customers are actually between the ages of 20 to 30, which means a lot of them never had the chance to vote before. So we tried to get this activation as close as possible to the whole election process. So this was actually a way for them to learn about the voting process. Last year, we did a collaboration with KFC. It's very unexpected because who would have thought a global fast food chain would collaborate with us to create apparel products that they don't even sell at their source. So for this collaboration, for this launch, we actually focus on the angle of nostalgia. The reason being, KFC has been in Malaysia for so long. It almost feels like they're a homegrown brand at this point. So our designs were nostalgic. We turned our whole store into a kind of like a KFC pop-up store, as we designed it according to the first KFC store, if you remember, at Jalan Tar. I'm not sure if any of you know, but this is exactly how it would look like back then. Lastly, we launched this collection a few weeks ago with AirAsia. So I've been talking about championing Southeast Asia, championing Malaysia. This collection enabled us to do that, champion Southeast Asia. Reason being, for this collection, we actually work with 7 different artists or creatives from the 7 different countries in Southeast Asia, from Myanmar, from Indonesia, from Philippines, from Singapore, Malaysia as well. Yeah. So this platform, this AirAsia platform, enabled us to showcase the talents of this artist to a wider audience than they would have if they had done it alone. They were able to showcase their designs, their culture, their talents to the world for all to see. So yes, this is how we use the 3 steps to actually get data to start our campaign ideations. So if you have any questions,
Adrian, you speak quite a lot about data being instrumental to what you do.
right?
Could you share with the audience perhaps some of the tools you may have used to glean some of this data?
Oh,
What,
yeah,
what
we're
you- Mhm.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're basically considered a SME, a small corporation, so we don't have the resources of the bigger companies. So what we normally do is we get people, we get our customers, we have a database of customers who are buying from us, core customers. We get them in, we engage them, we ask them questions, we do focus groups with them, we do questionnaires and surveys with them. So this is basically how we collect data.
And you do obviously partnerships with brands
Right.
outside of Malaysia or activations outside of Malaysia. Has there
Hmm.
been a situation where you've had to deal with a issue or a crisis because culturally different countries operate differently?
We try. Obviously, different countries have different cultures, but when working with a brand, when working with another company from outside of Malaysia, we always have a brief first, like initial brief, to talk to to that brand from the country about what we can or cannot do, what we have to avoid, and what not. So we try as much as we can to avoid any cultural faux pas.
Seem to be having a bit of a loading issue. It's like anyone has got questions from the floor? Hmm? I have one more question. What is your ultimate goal as a brand? Do you have a, you know, I want to be the next, I don't
No.
know, H&M in Malay. H&M is probably not the best comparison, really. The
No,
next
no, no.
Chanel or something. I don't know. What is your aspiration?
I think I mentioned earlier in the slides. We have a very clear vision and mission, which is to be the pride of Southeast Asia. We want to bring our culture. We want to bring what we do best to the world. So that is our end goal: to bring our brand out to the world, to bring with us the culture that we bring to the world.